I can't say strongly enough that I believe that whatever I've been able to accomplish professionally ties back to the lab school. I grew up in a working class family on the south side of Chicago in Jeffrey Manor. Neither of my parents went to college. My dad worked in a home improvement store on the far south side of Chicago, and my mom always worked in the home. It was a great neighborhood to grow up in. I had never heard of the lab school until my dad suggested that I might consider applying. I had gone to the neighborhood public schools from K through 8, and so the idea of going to school where I didn't know anybody was frightening. I went out for the debate team my first week of high school. There was a new debate coach, Earl Bell, and he had posted a notice encouraging people to apply. I'll never know why I applied for that. I was a painfully shy child. But I went out, debated all 4 years of high school, and then I debated all 4 years of college. And there's no way to describe what an enormous impact Earl Bell had on my life. In the most recent book that I wrote, I dedicated to my teachers, and especially to Earl Bell and to David Zarafsky, who was my college debate coach. And I say in the acknowledgments that other than my parents, those are the two people who had the most effect on my life. He took an enormous interest in us. He literally spent time on the phone every evening talking with me. He took us to tournaments on the weekend. My junior year of high school, my dad was quite ill and was out of work for the year, and there just weren't funds to keep me at lab. And Earl Bell made sure that there was the funds to keep me at lab, including going to the director of the lab school and saying that if there wasn't additional scholarship money, he would quit his job. And he paid for me to go to debate tournaments over the weekends until my dad got back to work. I think that the training that I received through Earl Bell and through debate has influenced everything that I've done. Starting at the beginning of my senior year of college, I wanted to go to law school. I always had the idea that someday I'd want to be a law professor, but I had no idea how you become one. Through a series of coincidences, I got a teaching job at DePaul Law School in Chicago. And I came home from my first class in August of 1980, and I said to my wife, this is what I want to do forever. I've continued to argue appellate cases on a fairly regular basis throughout my career as a law professor, and occasionally there are cases that go to the Supreme Court. The first one I argued is a case called Lockyer v. Andrade. My client, Leandro Andrade, was sentenced to 50 years to life in prison for stealing $153 of videotapes from Kmart stores in San Bernardino, California. And I lost 5-4 in the Supreme Court. When I first met Justice Stevens, I went up to him and introduced myself and mentioned that I had gone to the lab school. Every time where I'd see him in a situation where there could be a conversation, and the one thing I think he always recalled about me is I went to the lab school. Lab changed my life. I would not be where I am today but for that incredible opportunity to go to lab school. And I couldn't have gone to lab school without a scholarship to pay a substantial part of it. So I've tried to consistently give back because it gave so much to me.